The EU today formally approved an expanded, white list, of non-EU countries, from which travelers are allowed to enter the EU for non-essential travel. For the first time in almost a year, travelers from the US will be allowed to visit loved ones in Europe or simply go on holiday. It is not legally binding, meaning that individual European countries can decide to impose different restrictions and additional measures, if they deem it necessary, such as the requirement for proof of negative COVID-19 test results before arrival. For the past year, the white list has included just 5 to 8 countries, but now includes the following places, from which travelers can arrive, whether or not they have been vaccinated. Countries have been put onto the whitelist if they have under 75 cases of COVID-19 infections per 100,000 people over the past 14 days. The previous rate for entry was under 25 cases per 100,000 people. The EU also agreed to take vaccination rates and the control of new variants, existing and emerging, into account. It is also asking for reciprocity, where countries' travelers who are allowed in, will also allow EU visitors in return. Arrivals can use the digital COVID certificate, the EU-wide document, after it is rolled out on the 1st of July. All 27 EU countries are plugging their own digital certification applications into the mainframe during the month of June. By the 13th of June 12 EU countries were up and running and France is planning to log in on June 21st. The EU also agreed to apply an emergency brake if the epidemiological situation deteriorates rapidly in a third-party country. In this case, all travel into the EU from non-EU countries will be temporarily restricted. In more good news for transatlantic passengers coming to Europe, France announced on the 17th of July that the US and Canada are now on its green list for entering the country. As reported by The Local, both countries had been on the amber list when it was published on the 9th of June. France is operating a traffic light system for who is allowed in, where travelers are categorized on the basis of vaccination rates, COVID-19 variants and infection rates. As the US and Canada are now labeled green, travelers can now freely travel without needing an essential reason to do so. Vaccinated travelers, those that have received the second dose over 2 weeks before arrival, or the only dose of Johnson & Johnson over 4 weeks before arrival, do not need to provide an additional negative PCR test result, whereas unvaccinated travelers would need a negative test result, taken no more than 72 hours before departure. Travel is still not allowed in the other direction. The US border remains closed to non-Americans or those without green cards or American spouses. There are several theories about when the US might revoke the EU and UK travel ban put in place in March 2020. Optimists are hoping for an Independence Day announcement to restart travel from the 4th of July.